Wow, come on. How do I keep losing them?
Well, I watching Ryan Hall. Okay, they paused him. And the drama with all the hurricanes and the weather. I don't remember a I don't remember the weather being this bad. Like, I wanted to stain my deck, and you have to have 5 days in between rain to do it. And it's just been rain, 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 rain. It's just been kind of crazy. But anyway, as promised, I'm doing a live. Yesterday I did not do a live, but I did put up a video on how to use the flat lay board. And I hope you guys watch it. It was a different angle. It was actually kind of fun. Somebody had asked me, how do you use it? And I thought, why not do a video on it? And then last night I did some listing, and my son and I were going over some auction bids that he had made, and it was just kind of a crazy day. Today was a crazy day too. In fact, I only have a little bit of time today because I'm going over to my friends, and we're going to teach some other friends how to crochet. So that'll be fun. I've really not gotten together with people in so long, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. But then again, I've been hustling to make sure that I have enough done that I could kind of just get out for a bit. So last night I listed. Today I prepped 2 more bins. So tomorrow morning is a garage sale, and then Saturday garage sale. There's a whole bunch of them, and I'm really hoping the weather just is kind. It can rain. I'll handle rain, but you know, let's just not be crazy with all the weather. But I was watching Justin Resells. He's actually a local reseller who does a live, no, he doesn't even do a live, he does a recorded 1 day a week, generally on Mondays, YouTube. Very, very informative. He just has a ton of information, and the way he sees things is different than how I have seen most resellers see things. And last night he talked about, I forget the topic, but it was something about why does everybody hate resellers or something like that. And the way he looked at it was just, I've never seen it like explained that way. And I'm not going to take from him. I'm just going to tell you to go over there and watch his video and sign up, subscribe to him, because it's really, really good. But one of the things that he did talk about is, and it's something that I see all the time, and it just recently happened to me. I have number one, I have a pet peeve, and number two, the rudeness of some resellers is just infuriating to me, because no one sees my kindness, but they see her rudeness, you know, or they see her switching tags, or they see her, you know, running. I just see it like running down the aisle and pulling all the shoes off and throwing them into your cart so you can run back in the corner by toys and comp them all out to see if you got anything good. Just don't do that. Don't. The other thing that I saw, I went downtown actually, and there was a woman, and she had a cart full of things, and I actually was going through the cart because I walked by it several times and I didn't see anybody buy it. Nobody was looking around. Nobody was even close to it. And she come, I don't know from where, and I said, oh, is this your cart? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, hands off, you know, no problem. But why? Why do you do that and risk the chance of somebody going through your stuff? Literally, somebody could just walk by, grab 2 or 3 things off the top, and just keep going. And you have no recourse and nothing to say about it because you abandoned your cart. What's the big deal? Take it with you. I don't get that. I don't get it. So, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that either. The other thing that happened was, I have not been back to this store for a long time. They had a car run through the front of the building, and they had to do some repairs. And I know you've heard me talk about it before. And they had to basically push empty half the store. I guess that's the best way to say it. So they were only running on half a store. And I stopped going because there really wasn't a lot of stuff and there was too many people in there for that small of a space. So I just stopped going for a few months. Well, they're back up and running. And so I go in and, you know, I just start looking, and a cart comes out, or rack, whatever you guys call it. And I go to it, and I see this girl like on the side of me, like she is like hustling, like, that is my rack, don't touch it, I'm going to. And then she gets there, and of course I kind of picked the beginning of the men's, and I started to just go through it. And she goes around, well, she looked there a couple, and then she goes around me, and then she does the old famous trick of pushing as she looks at the things. And I've caught on to that one a long time ago. I just kind of put my arm in there so that you can't do that. You can't push me out. And then she just picked up a bunch of like the jeans and shirts, just picked them up and put them on her arm. And then she picked up some more and put them on her arm. And then she went around me to the beginning of the rack and rifled through it really fast, and then like hustled off to the front of the store. I don't know what she did with those items. And rude, just so rude, so ignorant. It just is. You don't have to do that. There is so much stuff out there. You do not need to be aggressive. You don't need to be, you don't need to do that. So when you guys are out there, don't do that. Don't. And if you find yourself doing that, go home. Go home, because you're giving all resellers a bad name. And because people don't see, they don't see the reseller who's being kind, or the reseller who, you know, is moving out of the way for someone, or letting someone go ahead, or whatever, or just being kind with their words. They don't see that, because people always look for the worst. They look in the worst for you. They look in the worst for people. And what do they see? They see the reseller showing up an hour early to a garage sale. They see the reseller pushing through. They see the reseller, you know, grabbing and acting as if her, you know, soul depended on it if she didn't grab half of the things on the cart. She was young, you know, not young. I think she was old enough to know manners, but she definitely wasn't exhibiting them. Hi, Linda. And it's kind of like, yeah. So it just was a big turnoff. I know people around saw it. I know the employees saw it. I believe it, you know. And the other thing that irritates me so bad, just grinds me, is people that rifle through the hangers, and you just hear bump, 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 bump. Why? It just makes me so mad. I always turn around and go, wow, you don't need to do that. You don't need to draw attention to yourself like, I am a reseller. Oh, look at me. Now, tank tops and spaghetti straps, I get it, because those hangers clank together. But if you're looking at t-shirts and jeans, you don't need to do that. That's my pet peeve. It grinds me right to my core when I'm looking and there's someone behind me or even in front of me and they're like rifling through. I'm like, stop it. Don't do that. Don't do that. But anyway, go to Justin Resells and look at his video that he put up on Monday. Why does everyone hate resellers, or something like that? It's a great video, and he talks about the different categories of resellers, which I have absolutely never heard before. And I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to take from him. I want you to go and watch his video. He's very informative. He also shares some of the things, you know, how his top 10 sales of the week or something like that. I've learned a lot from him, like listening to him. Plus, he's local to me. I've never met him. I think he lives more like south of St. Louis, from what I'm kind of gathering. I don't know for sure, but I appreciate him, and I appreciated his video, and I was like, yes, oh my gosh, yes. You know, and my son was telling me he went to a garage sale Well, it had to have been last Saturday, and there was an item that he wanted that he had seen in the list or pictures or whatever. And he got there, I think it was like 10 minutes. He said 15 minutes is the most that he will arrive early. And the place was pretty much wiped out. Everything the person had, I'm assuming it probably was electronics and toys or something. And so he asked the guy, about one of the items, and sorry, something came up on my thing. He asked me about one of the items, and they were like, "Oh, some guy showed up at 6 o'clock. The sale opened at 7, and they bought it." Now, see, to me, that is the seller's fault, and that is also the reseller. Don't show up an hour early. Don't do that. This whole thing's going to just be about, don't do that. Don't. I've been about a half hour early, and what I do is I park my car, and you kind of get a vibe. If they're not wanting you to be there. And if I don't get the bad vibe, I kind of go to the end of the driveway, and I go, "Hey, I know I'm early. Do you mind if I look?" I think I've only had one person in a year tell me, "We aren't open yet." No. And I respect that, and I leave. If I get back to them, I get back to them. If I don't, I don't. It's not that big of a deal. I just think the resellers that are being pushy and all early and grabbing, y'all need to take some manners lessons or something, or y'all just need to realize, like, maybe you don't know how to comp things out, and maybe you don't know how to find things that sell, and that's why you get so, the anxiety is there that you feel that you have to do those things. But whatever it is, you need to stop, because there's a whole lot of resellers out there like myself that I tell people I'm a reseller. I am proud I am a reseller. I tell people what reselling did for me and what job it got me out of. But every time you tell somebody you're a reseller and you get that look, you know what they're thinking about. They're thinking about that Goodwill store they were just at, and the reseller about knocked them over to get to the cart and take half the items, Or the reseller that stands in the back in the lingerie section or whatever, and goes through their cart and just dumps the stuff they don't want in that section, and they don't put things back. Come on, we got to do better. We got to do better as a whole, for everyone. Okay, my rant is over. Maybe. I have to check this one. Text somebody just sent me. I'm sorry if you hear the noise. I have my window open because I can. Oh, I have to look this up real bad. All right. Okay. Oh, so how's everything been going with you, Linda? How's the weather? Your weather is kind of crappy right now, isn't it? I heard Ashland, and I was like, yes, Ashland. um, sorry, I have to answer this. Okay. I get all kinds of questions. So that's it. I was watching Ryan Hall with the weather, and in about 45 minutes, less than that, I'm going to be leaving and going meeting some friends. We're going to teach another friend how to crochet. And like I said, I don't know if it's something that I can continue to do. I laugh because the women that I volunteer with, they're all like, they're all retired and they're married, and they volunteer for 2 days for 8 hours each day. And I'm like, yeah, that's not me yet. I still have to work. Wait, what are you saying? Wow. Yeah, I guess we're going to miss the storms today, but tomorrow, I guess, tomorrow night, we're supposed to get hit again, or Saturday night. Um, you know, my kids and I, we just have too much, I won't say fun, we do have fun with it, but we all get in a group chat, and we're all kind of scattered around St. Louis, and we are either watching Ryan Hall, or if he's not on, the Y'all Bot, and then we're all watching different the MoDOT cameras to see where the storm is. And my daughter actually works in Clayton, and they had her entire floor go to the middle of the floor. And I'm like, the storm isn't even there yet. So I got on the MoDOT cameras, and I'm like, the storm isn't even coming near you. What are they doing? But we're from Ohio, and you know what I'm saying. Ohio people, we get out there and we watch the storms. We watch it come in and go over and go by. I mean, my kids were raised like that. We sat on the front porch until we couldn't sit there any longer watching storms come in. I was lucky enough to have a porch swing that faced, you know what, I don't even know. I'm assuming northeast. But all the storms used to come in that way, and we watch it. Yeah, I heard that we were going to have a nice, I'm going to look and see. Oh man, I'm never going to get my deck painted. It's just not going to happen. So we've got rain tonight, slight chance, tomorrow night, Saturday night, Sunday night, but they're all low, 20%. Oh, 70% Saturday night. Hopefully garage sales will be done and it won't hurt people. It's true. It is true. When I moved here, like my son married a girl from Missouri, and it's like, run to the basement as soon as the sky gets dark. And I'm like, what is she doing? And it was so funny. She just had baby number 3. And so my son came home from work and told her she could just go out, go do what you want to do. And so she left, and I don't think she was gone 20 minutes, and the sirens went off. And my son and I, we laughed. We were like, she's never going to go out again. And she did. She literally turned around and went home and stayed home. She said she was actually by one of the pools where the sirens were and scared her half to death, which I can imagine that probably was pretty loud. But I still, well, number one, I am a storm chaser. And I like storms. I mean, I haven't chased a storm in a long time, but I can if I want to, but I don't. And I also have that little degree that you get, you know, that you can call in and verify, you know, hail or damage or anything like that. I'll tell you what though, the other night, oh my gosh, what was it like? Well, it was when the tornadoes went through St. Louis. I was sitting here as usual. I'm up on the 2nd floor, and the storm went through, no big deal. Okay, good storm, whatever. And my window probably was open just like it is, and I heard this sound, and I was like, what is that? I couldn't, like, I'm sometimes in the flight path and I can hear the planes, and I'm like, that isn't a plane. What? And it didn't sound like a locomotive. I don't know why people say it sounds like a train. It didn't. And then all of a sudden, I just started seeing things fly out my window, and it was like, I couldn't think fast enough. I didn't know. I just was like, do I grab my computer? What do I do? I had my phone and my tea. And I went probably 20 steps to go down, and it was past. Had that been the tornado, I probably would have been gone. But yeah. Yeah, ours, they're everywhere. Why, you know, well, we all know why they didn't work in St. Louis, but here in St. Charles County, I believe there is no one that pushes a button or a switch. It is done by pressure. And if the pressure is right, somehow they all go off. And you can hear them like start, and they'll come by and come bad, go by, bye, bye. And then you can hear them all. And then my son will say, and he's way far down in St. Louis, and he'll say, we have tornado sirens. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Because yesterday they went off and there was no tornado. I just think they're just being extra cautious because of everything that's going on. Thank you. It's just so dumb. First time though I've ever really been like contemplating what I should do. I usually don't ever go to the basement ever. My kids know, like we all know where we will be if something bad would happen, so that if we had to search for each other. But I just was like, I wish I could tell you the sound. It was just a lot of wind, a lot of wind, and it just came and went so fast. And I'm absolutely sure that is probably the same system that was the tornado down in, where's it? Ferguson, St. Louis, Florissant, that area. And I just read today they're going to tear down over 200 of those homes. I know a lot of them were not in the best of neighborhoods. They're like brownstones and brick, and a lot of history there. But there's also a lot of problems there too. So I kind of think they're using the tornado as a reason to change the demographics of the area, I guess. I don't know whether they'll rebuild or what. I don't know what happens to the people that live in those homes, or who owns them, or if they were renting. I don't know. Yeah, we are. Every year we get something. Like last year, I think Hazelwood got hit. But this year has been, I don't remember it being like this, storm after storm after storm. Like I said, maybe I feel that way because I want to paint my deck, and I have to wait. Actually, I have to wait longer than 5 days because the side is covered in trees. It takes a longer time for it to dry out. But it's like I can't get 5 days to where it doesn't rain. So I have a funny feeling it's going to be July or August before I can paint it. And then I had a guy over here trying to tell me how to paint you know how to paint a deck, right? I'm like, yep. Have you done it before? Yes, I have. And then he continued to tell me how to paint the deck. And I was like, okay, thank you for helping me paint my deck. I just kind of get a kick out of it sometimes because, if you're a woman, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's like you don't know. Even if you know, you don't know. And they got to tell you. Every Wednesday? I think ours are tested the first Monday of the month. And it's ominous because you can just hear them start like way off in the distance, and they'll be going and it gets closer and closer, and then yours will go, and then you hear it go past you. And the same thing when they stop, it stops like that. It's just kind of like woo, 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 and they all kind of until they all stop. It's interesting. Oh wow. See, in Ohio we had basements, and I know, I guess a lot of people don't have basements. That would be scary. I have a lower level. It's not really a basement, but it is a lower level. And I also have a cast iron bathtub down there. And it's got stuff in it, but because I don't ever use it. Like this house has 3 bathrooms. I don't need 3 bathrooms, so I use it. I have bins in it and stuff. But that is where I would go, is I would go and get in that bathtub. But I'm not prepared to really do that. Like how he says to have hard-soled shoes and a helmet, Wouldn't be a bad idea to probably get those things and have, just in case. Because you never know. That was really close. Really, really close. I remember my great-grandparents, they were in Pennsylvania, and maybe it was a storm cellar, but it was on the side of the house, and it was like slanted, and the doors opened, and thank you for the hearts, thank you for the love. And you would go like down the steps, but they called it, I think, like a root cellar or something like that. So boy, and I bet it scares some of those kids. My granddaughter is scared of, well, her mom and then her other grandma, they use the phrase scared and afraid and worried a lot. And I think it's just kind of like bounced onto her, because she'll say, I'm scared a lot. And I just know that, you know, but she's afraid of storms and she's afraid of the dark, which I get that. But sometimes she'll, you know, make up something. She's like, I'm scared. I'm like, what are you afraid of? And she'll point to one of my lights on my stairs, going down the stairs. And she goes, I'm afraid of that. And I'm like, stop. You're not afraid of that light. Come on. And the other night she was afraid of my warehouse where I work. And I made her come with me. I held her and we went in, and she was afraid of my light stands. And I said, we're gonna go see the light stands. And so we went in there and I turned them on, and she loved them. It was like the big thing. And then I showed her how I used them. And then because I was still holding her, I told her, you know, I put something here and I click and take a picture. And so the next day she wanted to go down and see them. So we went down and she said, take a picture, take a picture. And so I had to pretend I was taking a picture of something. But you know, when you're little, things look a whole lot different, you know. It's probably, but I'm sure those sirens probably scared her. Storms scare her. She's a little bit afraid of a lot of things. And I hope that changes. But you know, I remember getting a laundry basket and putting all my prized possessions, aka toys, in the laundry basket and taking it downstairs every time, I guess when this bad storm was coming through, because we lived in Champion, Ohio, which is by Warren, and we never really had any, we had more crazy snow than we had like bad weather in the summer. I remember, was it 78? We had that like blizzard snowstorm, and we had a foot of snow. I forget, it was like crazy the amount of snow that we had. Missouri doesn't get a lot of snow, but they get ice, a lot of ice here, and that's scary and bad. Oh well, that was it. I just came on here to complain, I guess. Oh, my sales, I had the best month ever. I finally got my stats done this morning. I finished them this morning. Best month ever. I was so excited. So yeah, 78. That was crazy. I forget how much snow that had. I don't want to be wrong, so blizzard of 78. Michigan got 33.8 inches of snow. Wow, 51 people died in Ohio during that. I know we didn't get 33 inches, but I thought it was something like 19, but I can't remember. Maybe it was more than that. I can't find Ohio and how much it had. It's so funny. One year, my husband and I went up to Albany, New York, and we're from Ohio. And a snowstorm was coming in, and we're like, we're from Ohio. We know what a snowstorm is. We're fine. And we went to the mall, and literally the mall was shutting down. Like, everything closed. And then they shut down the highway, and we're like, what is going on? So we decided we better go back to our hotel. Our hotel was literally 5 minutes away from this mall that we were at. The snow fell so much and so fast. Semis were getting stuck. When we got back to the hotel, I think it was like it took us a half hour. There were people sleeping in the hallways because they shut it down. People were on the highways, and they had to go somewhere, and they wouldn't let people off. They just shut it down, and people were stuck. I've never seen anything like it. That was crazy. Wow. I probably was working. I was probably working in Youngstown, but I don't remember much. I think I probably was home. Because I don't remember being out with it. Yeah, I do remember that snow though, because I remember it being out front, like up against the tree that was out front of our house, and it was like taller than me. It was a lot. Might have been 19. I don't know why 19 sticks in my head, but Michigan would have gotten more snow than us. They can have it. They can have their snow. All right, girl, I'm going to get ready to get out of here and go crochet, or go show somebody how to crochet. I don't know if I'm going to continue doing this or not, but I just put in a few hours at volunteering, and then I'm doing this. And then tomorrow, like I said, I have a one garage sale so far that I saw that I want to go to. And then Saturday, there's quite a few. Hopefully you'll get out. Go get some garage sailing done. Or even an estate sale. Sunday estate sales are the best. Rochester is crazy. Really? That's crazy. You too, girl. I might come back on tonight. I don't know. Depends. I'm tired, but I'm going to go and be with the ladies. So you guys, you have a great night. Thank you so much for supporting me and being here. We'll talk tomorrow after I do what I got to do. Maybe I'll find something great. I can share it. Bye-bye.